Okay, great. Well, thank you again for doing this. And I guess I don't actually have your name. I only have Instagram handle.
Lenore Craven is my name. I'll email it to you if you'd like.
And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start the recording if that's good with you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this recording, that's a good sign. So just to make sure I have it for whoever else ends up watching this, say and spell your first and last name. Tell me where you're from and what you do.
My name is Lenore Craven, LenoreCraven, and I am currently living in Dallas, where I just moved because of coronavirus. And I am a college professor and a massage therapist, a teacher and a massage therapist.
And where did you originally move from Dallas from?
I moved from Salt Lake City, but I'm from California. I lived in the Bay Area and in Los Angeles, where I went to college and taught school in inner city, South Central LA.
So you said you had to move back to Dallas because of the coronavirus?
Yes. As soon as things started getting weird, we took our 5 kids and went to my in-laws' house in the middle of nowhere, and we just camped out there, and then we got jobs here, so we moved. Yeah.
Wow, 5 kids.
Yeah, five kids, 3 of whom are mixed race, and it's something that we are very involved in, causes for political injustice and that sort of thing, social injustice.
Okay, great. So let me make sure I pull my questions up here. Okay, so why don't we talk a little bit about the protests now? Just tell me where you went to protest, when you went.
So we started protesting, I think the first day people started to go out protesting. No, the second day. The first day we couldn't get down there, but the first day we took our bikes, and we didn't have any signs that day. We just kind of wanted to feel out to see if it was a comfortable environment for children to be around. And so we rode our bikes through Dallas to the Dallas City Hall, where we found a group of protesters, and we joined from afar initially. So safety has been my number 1 priority as far as bringing my children, because every time I go, I have children with me. So we stay far on the fringes and show our support in a variety of different ways. So like the protesters will gather and they'll have like a rally, and then they'll take off down the street, and so we'll wave them goodbye and we'll pick up the trash and wait for them to return.
Do you bring signs?
We do bring signs. Yes, my little girl sign says, she's 5 and she wrote it herself. It's her first protest sign. She kept saying baby's first protest, and it says, be nice to Black people. It's as easy as ABC.
Yes, it should be.
It should
right? Be. You have 5 kids. How old are they? And how are you involving them in this? I know you said that's important.
They are 13, 11, and 10. Those children are from my first marriage, and they are mixed race Asian. So they have brown skin. They're Thai, so they have kind of dark brown skin in the summer. And then my 2 younger children are 5 and 4, and they're Caucasian. So I take all 5 of them with me as much as I can, the ones who are interested in it. It's really hot in Dallas, so that's been kind of prohibitive. Also, the coronavirus is also prohibitive to protesting. And when we go, they're very much aware of why we're there and what the purpose of the movement is, to celebrate Black lives and to bring their needs and the injustices against them to the greater public. And I think it's a great opportunity to teach children about the world that they live in, so that they know from jump that the privileges that we have and the things that we have are not the same across the board. Everybody has a different life experience as an American.
So, why did you decide to go out to protest this time? Is it your first protest for Black Lives Matter?
Not for Black Lives Matter, no. I think I've participated with that before. It's not my first protest either. It's social justice has always been very important to me. And this issue in particular is important because it is so systemic. And in particular, my interest lies in education. And that's how I learned about these major disparities between races. So I taught in South Central LA for a couple of years, and I was one of 3 white people on campus at the school down there. I taught middle school. And it was just years of eye-opening experiences where the students that I met had a completely different set of access points for the services and the things that they need. So when we say Black Lives Matter, that's just the tip of the iceberg. We're really talking about Black futures matter, Black education matters, Black healthcare matters, all of these different, the racial wealth divide matters. All of these things have been a passion of mine since I was teaching down there, and I just felt like I was a good teacher. I was happy to be there, but the 1 hour a day that I spent with those kids was just not enough. It was such a mountain of injustice facing them. The little part that I could do was almost depressing, because you're a tiny little bit, one hour of care, when maybe the other parts of their life are just so chaotic in that particular environment. And so it became a passion of mine when I learned that the children in that environment do not have the same access that my children have, because of history, because of the ancestral inheritance that they've gotten. And it's a bum deal, and it's not right. And I'm super grateful that I get to stand up for it at this time, and to be a supporter of this movement. I feel like the more people who get involved, if we hit critical mass, the more people who come out. I've encouraged as many of my friends to come as possible. I feel like the more people, the more voices, the more diversity of voices that we have behind this movement, the closer that we will come to having a positive impact. We're just scratching the surface. There's so many reforms that need to happen.
And why does it matter for you as a white person to come out and support Black Lives Matter?
Because if they aren't free, then I'm not free. We're Americans. They're no different from me in any way. To use my white voice, to use my privilege, to at least be a body standing there. I don't run. I don't lead any chants. I just walk. I support. I'm there to say, I see you. It's important to me. Your life experience is important to me, and I'm going to do anything in my power to stop the injustice where it is, to let it be part of history rather than part of the present and part of the future. And I can guarantee that with my 5 children, you're going to have 5 more people who are going to be protesting for the rest of their lives, as long as injustice is part of our world.
Right, and particularly racial injustice, obviously.
Yes,
as well.
Racial injustice, specifically as it stems from the racial wealth divide. I feel like what we're talking about, police brutality, and feeling safe on the streets, that's such a bare minimum. That's such a minor ask. My children, it doesn't even occur to them that they wouldn't be safe playing hide and seek in the neighbor's yard. But the experience of a Black mother with a Black child has a completely different life experience than I do. And I'm grateful that I haven't had to have those hard conversations with my children. And if I can do just one little thing, if I can show up to one protest and say, I don't want that life for you. I want desperately that Black mothers can sleep easy knowing that their children are safe. It's really important. So freedom from fear is basically, I would say, what we are protesting for.
And are the how often are you still going, and how?
That's a really good question.
Present is the movement still?
That's a really good question. We have gone, I think, 8 times. But as coronavirus starts to pick up, I can't see how the 2 issues are going to play out. I continue to protest in any way that I can. I share information. I talk about it. I think one of the major things that we can do to continue the protest is to continue to be advocates. White people are unique because we hear the conversations that other races don't hear. We are a safe zone for racism. And I think, I can't remember exactly which movement promoted frown power. I don't know if you know about that, but when somebody says something racist, rather than to just let them off the hook, to frown at them or to give them a look of consternation. I thought that was just such a little tiny thing that people can do to say, your racism is not safe with me. You don't get to say racist things around me. And if you do, I'm going to say something to you because it's not okay. It's not okay to listen to it. It's not okay to tolerate it. It's not okay to make racists feel comfortable, to make racist statements when, in particular, one of the things that I hear as a white person in my workplace, in different conversations that I've had throughout my life, I've heard a lot about minorities being blamed for their life circumstances, or they'll say something about the morality of these people. Oh, well, if they had a dad in their home, then X, Y, or Z would happen. Oh, if they just got a better job, then X, Y, or Z would happen. Oh, if they structured their lives differently. The people for whom we are fighting, the injustices that they suffer are inherited injustices. They're not to blame for the situation that they find themselves born into. And it's not fair, and I hope, it seems like an insurmountable mountain, but I'm going to climb it one step at a time.
And I'm curious, so you said you talked about other ways that you're supporting the Black Lives Matter movement, mm-hmm. So just spreading information, education is obviously very important to you. Mm-hmm. What do you think about donating? Is that something you're doing?
Yes, whenever I have a specific link, that anything that appeals to me or as something that is specifically directed toward the movement, like I will give to NAACP or to Black Lives Matter. If we can consolidate funds and put them in the right places. I also support Black businesses as much as I can. When we eat out, we are conscious of where we eat. I think about it in every aspect of my life. But I think sharing information and having conversations and putting your face out there and saying, this is not okay with me. I don't care who unfriends me. I don't care who sees my my Instagram posts. I don't care who is tired of this. We don't get the privilege to be tired of it. It is white privilege in and of itself to say, I don't feel like involving myself in this movement. And I respect that we have to be careful about how we protest, and I think that there are a lot of different ways. You don't just have to use social media. You don't just have to show up to protest. You can support the movement in a variety of different ways, in your own home, by teaching your children, and by teaching your parents. It's time.
All great points, and I totally hear you, and I think it's become kind of a little bit of a reckoning for everybody, including myself, to really make an effort to support Black-owned businesses is, I think, probably the most that I could do.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And obviously keep our sources as diverse as we can, and mm-hmm. continue to hear and listen to Black people and their experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Great. This is great. I know you said you wanted to bring your kids in.
Oh, they're not here with me right now, I'm sorry to say, but man, they will pipe off. If you'd like any clips of them or pictures from them protesting, I'd be happy to share that. The story, I think you may have seen the one with Lulu with the sign. She's this one little tiny white kid and it's surrounded by this entire mass of Black protesters. So how that happened was we were sitting on the stairs at City Hall, and the protesters had left, and we'd cleaned up, we'd picked up all the water bottles, we'd thrown everything away with a couple other Black kids, and who were doing the same thing. And then we just sat there on the front steps, and she was holding her sign, and the whole protest came toward us. Hundreds of people, and here's my tiny little girl just standing there saying, I believe in this. This is important. We're going to be here for it. I just wish she was wearing a mask. I feel guilty about that. I feel a lot of conflict between the coronavirus and putting other people at risk, especially the Black community. Why do you think the Black community is more at risk for this, for coronavirus? It's because of systemic healthcare issues. Systemic. It's not their fault. They don't get more sick. It's access to healthcare, and it's just, there's so many things.
Yeah, and you're definitely not the only person who is that, feeling that concern about the coronavirus too. Is like a really terrible, unfortunate intersection.
It is.
It's
bad timing. It's bad timing, but I admire the people who are still going out there because they're saying we're doing our best and we can't miss out on this moment. And if this is when the iron's hot and we need to strike now, then that's what we have to do at our own personal peril and at the peril of grandma at home. So it's hard.
I actually didn't see that photo or video that you're talking about,
I'll send it to
but
you.
I would love to. So either pictures, whatever you have.
Okay.
It'll help us edit it.
Can you tell me about the segment?
Oh yeah, sure. So the